And I'm only going to speak for like 2 minutes. I'm just basically here. Hello, everyone. I'm Kathryn Sussman, and I'm basically here to support the Canadian contingent. I'm not going to speak for long. I think Carly did a great job just now. I'm a consultant to a variety of animal protection organizations, and I really am honored to be back here. I was here at the last Superpod, and really I'm in the company of so many of my heroes, many of them world famous, and others quiet fighters for this cause. I want to give a shout out to Joyce Parks, people that have just been working tirelessly behind the scenes. Again, I credit. There's a lot of people doing the boring stuff that has a big impact and gets things done as well. So I work on a variety of animal welfare issues, not just whales and dolphins. I work on things like trying to prevent the use of wild animals in circuses, animals used in research, animals in the exotic pet trade, lots of different things. But it all started for me because I have a passion for bottlenose dolphins, and then that developed into just a disgust with marine land and wanting to help Kiska, the orca that I had seen as a little girl, and always had a weird gut feeling that something wasn't right with that situation. So when I was here last time, I told my personal story. What I want to get across is just that this was not my day job. I was studying to do a PhD in a completely unrelated field, but my passion for animals was just kind of like a hobby. And I started putting more and more time into that and ended up eventually at a protest at Marineland. And from there, I decided to try to get involved in a way that could make a difference, more than just by going to a protest. And I want to emphasize that everybody can do this, so it's amazing and inspiring to see London and kids getting involved, young advocates. And I just want everyone to know, nobody has missed the boat on this. If you're a grandparent, if you're a mom who has empty nest because your kids have grown up, if you're just not fulfilled with your day job, it's up to all of us. We can all get involved, and it's actually not as difficult as it seems. So just a couple of tips from my work in this area. The way I see it, and a lot of this I need to credit my sister Amanda Sussman. She's a head policy advisor at Plan International, and I've learned so much from my sister and from the director of ZooCheck, Rob Laidlaw. So these are not my ideas, just passing them along. But two basic objectives to advocacy, the way I see it, are to raise awareness and to change policy. I have to say, I think protests are great for raising public awareness. I think it's really important that we have protests, even shocking protests. I think absolutely that's fantastic. And the other side of this is that we need people to get more involved and not be intimidated to actually change policy. When you're trying to change policy, you need to have specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic goals. And as Carly pointed out, you need to get in front of and present these goals to officials who have the power to get them in place. That is key. You need to pressure and influence decision makers so that they actually have the political will to bring about the change that you want to see. Protesting in front of individual businesses, it can sometimes be effective, but it's most likely not where you want to be. It's not going to be as effective as going in front of a government building, or even better, making a private one-on-one meeting with your local representative. It's different in Canada and the US, I realize, but that's a better, kind of more effective use of your energy often. And let me see. Other things I suggest are just make meetings not only with your local representative, but speak at committees, get to know other activists and advocates in your neighborhood, work with other stakeholders, come together, mobilize your efforts so there is less fracture. It really does make a huge difference, and it's the best way to be heard. And again, you need to persevere. These kinds of issues, I like to have many issues on the go at once because it's very hard to get a change when you're talking about animal welfare. It can take years, sometimes decades. So I get frustrated often when I'm working with Rob at ZooCheck, and I'll be like, but Rob, it's been 5 years and I've been working so, and he laughs at me and he says, come back to me in 20 years and then we'll talk. So take breaks and also celebrate your small successes. And I think that's really important. It's not always all or nothing. We're chipping away at it, and this conference is evidence of that. It's great. The last thing I want to say is, you know, all of you in this room, you're so knowledgeable and you have so much experience when it comes to cetacean issues. And, you know, timing really is very important. And if you find that you've hit a wall with the change you're trying to make, why not shift focus a little bit, spread yourself in a different direction and try to advocate for a different species. A lot of this, see, whale issues are so precedent setting because people just love whales and dolphins, and that's why I love to work on whale and dolphin issues, because it really has a trickle-down effect, and I feel like when we get a change up here, we're just getting change at other levels as well. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks, and we're both here for a few minutes.
Any questions?
Carly, I would just like
Here.
to hear.
Here.
Go ahead.
Here, turn the lights up.
I can't see.
The light's on.
Where's the light? Oh, thank you. Okay. London.
So you were saying that you just need the Ontario government. So I don't know how Canada government
Yeah.
works. But so like I know the senators, they're saying that you need Congress to breach the dam. So is the Ontario government trying to make the excuse with Kiska that, oh, we need a higher level of government? Have they done that?
No, so the
Good
problem
question.
is
Good
that
question.
animals are considered property, right?
Yeah.
So in the law's eyes, and it's such a big problem everywhere, in the law's eyes is that whoever owns the animal, it's up to them to want to move her. Even though her situation right now,
She's kind of in limbo because
She is
her
so in
owner
limbo.
died.
yeah, she's very much in limbo. And you know, right now is a really important time for her, and you know, we're gonna have to try to do everything we can to get her back in that ocean.
If you don't mind, I can just add to that point a little bit. Animals are considered property under the law, and we do have a federal law. You are not able to willingly, knowingly cause harm to an animal. But even though this is clearly a case of animal cruelty, every expert in this room will tell you that with Kiska, we don't have the proper enforcement, unfortunately, in our province. So this has just been an issue that continues to go on and on.
Yeah, I have another question too. So, I don't know much about law and policy, but since she is in this extreme state of limbo, since her owner had died, do you know of any loopholes that you could end up getting her free while she is in this?
We're trying to explore every single angle possible, and come talk to me later because it's being videotaped and I don't want to say anything publicly.
Yeah.
But come talk to me later and we'll talk about it, okay?
I have a question about recent reports that suggest that 2 beluga whales have left Canada and gone to China. Have you had confirmation on that?
Apparently that is not true. It was one of those fake Chinese media releases.
Really? Okay. Because the
Yeah.
only place they could have come from is Marine Land.
That's the only place, yeah,
Vancouver's are down in SeaWorld, and there's no way they're going to
exactly.
give them up. so-
Exactly.
Okay.
It's more comments, not necessarily a very positive one, regarding the Vancouver Aquarium. I worked there for a while, I run Vancouver State. So the law, what they decided to do regarding not keeping cetaceans in captivity, I know how they work. What they will do is use the Marine Mammal Rescue Center as a front and then provide from there. So what they're going to do is play with the public's emotion and then just, say, oh, it's either we euthanize or we keep it in a
It's a
tank.
rescue, yeah.
The rescue center's not in the
Where
aquarium.
the whale sanctuary project is amazing, and this is why I feel so strong about it, because they would be able to become
Exactly. There'll be somewhere else they can go, right?
Also,
Yeah.
you get on loan currently in the US that will probably be brought back in the next year at
What?
the Vancouver Aquarium. So yeah, there's just one right now, Helen, but
Yeah.
we might
And-
have quite one coming on the way.
This is why it's so important to get these things cemented into law, because right now, it could change at any point. So,
Can you guys repeat
Dr.
the
Christie,
question,
do you want to say
please?
something?
Can you repeat the questions, please?
Oh, sure, sorry.
Just to the point, to the lovely lady who's used to work at Vancouver Aquarium, your comments are right on the nail, because that's exactly what they did with Chester, the suit
False
order,
kill.
and they're going to keep doing it at all of these facilities. So we need to get the sanctuary in place, and it can't come soon enough, so just get active on that, please.
And we need to get the federal law changed.
Oh, yes, of course.
The problem also is that the Canadian government and DFO doesn't have a veterinarian that makes the last call. So the person who decides if the animal is non-releasable
Is
the
Vancouver
aquarium in charge, who is paid by the aquarium, which is like.
She's obviously seen Vancouver Aquarium
And even as a
uncovered.
medical staff, I did not have access to the file explaining why that animal wasn't releasable. And I'm still medical staff, so.
Okay, one more question over here. Oh, she had it.
Regarding the 58 belugas, are there not legally defined minimum spatial parameters?
Listen, marine land is violating there's so many counts of animals, but there's so many.
Repeat the question.
Oh, sorry.
Is there a violation about the 58 belugas in our law being cramped into such a tiny space? To give you perspective, so there's 3 very basic standards of care being food, water, shelter. Those animals don't even have shelter. So that kind of puts it into perspective about our enforcement agencies. And it's a system that needs complete overhauling. So that's something else we're going to be working with our new government, trying to work with them about that, along with ZooCheck, I think, is also doing a lot of work on that.
And you guys are going to be here later, right?
Yeah, come talk to us.
Yeah. Any more questions?